In today's news, Premier Wheatley and Honorable RYMER stand with Vanterpool for Commissioner of Police. Budget forecasts GDP growth and easing of inflation. Premier Wheatley caps back after opposition leader says budget was focused on fluff. And George's Hollow Road project in final phase. These and more stories when 284 News returns.
We mash the gas, them bite the dust. We set the speed while they gathering rust. Inside we heart BVI come first. So please don't be fooled cause they not like us. Once we mash the gas, them bite the dust. Cause we always fast and we always fuss. If you want real speed, you know who to trust. Somebody better tell them they're not like who? They're not like us. CCT fast, like CCT fast, like CCT just generosity, love the community bad, like CCT first with the 5G, cause BVI is we.
Welcome to the Friday, November 7th edition of 284 News. I am Jacques Wooding Donovan, bringing you the latest out of the British Virgin Islands. Thank you so much for joining us. Premier Dr. Natalio Wheatley has made it clear that he does not support the governor's position on Acting Police Commissioner Jacqueline Vanterpool.
As a member of the National Security Council and the elected leader of government, I am duty-bound to state my public position on the Acting Commissioner Jackie Vanterpool being reverted to her substantive post. Governor Bruce did inform me of his intentions to do such, and I informed him that I did not agree for a number of reasons. Firstly, my representative on the Police Service Commission has informed me that the recommendation for a new police commissioner is imminent. If indeed Jackie Vanterpool is the successful candidate, it would be highly disruptive to bring someone from across the globe as an interim police commissioner only to be replaced by Jackie Vanterpool as a new commissioner. This casts doubt as to whether Jackie Vanterpool has a fair opportunity to win the job, despite what the Police Service Commission's recommendation may be.
The Honorable RYMER also took the opportunity to express his disagreement with the governor's approach.
I know the question was asked to the Premier and where the government stand. I just, want the people of the territory to know that we stand with you. We understand that it definitely is unfair what was done. Constitutionally, the governor has the right based on Section 97. And, NSC is a body. Though we can't make any decisions, we're there to advise, but the governor ultimately makes a decision based on His Majesty's service, prejudicing His Majesty's service. So in terms of the uprising of the people, we support you. I support you, and I know the members would have said the same thing. And regarding the security and the prison, I too support that the situation should be where the superintendent should be an administrative leave as we go through the internal processes and the external processes of understanding what took place there. So my support again is there for that, and I just wanted to make that clear.
During the budget on Thursday, Premier Wheatley projected cautious optimism for the Virgin Islands economy. He announced that the territory's gross domestic product is expected to grow by 0.4% in 2025, while inflation is forecasted to ease by 1.4% by the end of the year. Despite acknowledging that food prices remain high for residents, Dr. Wheatley assured that the government is working to ease the burden on households and strengthen economic resilience.
Looking ahead, real GDP growth is expected to moderate to 0.4% in 2025, reflecting a period of consolidation after rapid post-pandemic gains. Inflation is forecast to ease to 1.84% by the end of 2025, although food and service sector prices remain high, impacting low-income households. The government continues to prioritize assistance for at-risk populations while working to enhance the resilience of our food and energy systems. Mr. Speaker, the financial services industry continues to be one of the most vital pillars of our economy. Mr. Speaker, I must pause here to acknowledge the profound legacy of Dr. Robert McTavish, OBE, the pioneer of this industry, whom we laid to rest on October 16th. Dr. McTavish laid the foundation for the financial services industry, transitioning this territory from one heavily reliant on external aid to one of self-reliance and international recognition. I ask us to pause for a moment of silence in remembrance of this national hero. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, despite significant external factors, including changing global regulatory standards and geopolitical developments, the financial services sector has demonstrated resilience.
He also paid tribute to the late Dr. Robert McTavish, praising his lifelong contribution to the territory and the financial services sector. According to the Premier, the total revenues could reach approximately $263 million by the end of 2025, a 4% increase over the previous period last year.
The industry's activities in the Asia-Pacific region, which comprise over half of corporate services business, contributed to positive results in 2024, continuing into 2025. As of August 2025, new incorporations reached 19,373, representing a 7.6% increase compared to the same period in 2024. Revenue collections from financial services fees through August 2025 amounted to $160.28 million, with projections indicating that total revenues could reach $263.62 million by the end of 2025, a marked increase of 4% over 2024 collections of $253.56 million. The government and the Financial Services Commission continue to implement reforms, including a strategic action plan aimed at improving financial crime prevention and further developing the regulatory framework in preparation for the upcoming CFATF mutual evaluation process. Measures are being taken to uphold international standards and maintain the jurisdiction's global reputation for transparency and reliability.
Dr. Wheatley added that ongoing reforms by the government and the Financial Services Commission continue to support growth, transparency, and innovation in the sector, which remains a vital pillar of the Virgin Islands economy. Up next, Premier claps back after opposition leader says budget focused on FLUFF and George's HALLOW road project in final phase. These and more stories after a word from our sponsors.
My name is Henry Bosch. I work for PPG. I'm here to explain to you the use of the Deltron NXT paint line and Enviro-based high performance, one being solvent-borne and the next being waterborne. The difference is that one is totally manufactured with rosins and thinners and all the good stuff that solvents bring versus our new technology, which is waterborne, which is 100% latex. What we're gonna do is that we reduce the solvent-borne with a DT885, which is a mid-temp reducer, and the waterborne uses T494, which is a waterborne reducer. We will today be using either DCU 2042, which is a speed clear, or we will be using DCU 2021, which is a classic. We have here our equipment. We have 8-ounce measuring cups, and we also have our 32-ounce mixing cup. We will also have with us our Venturi. This is a blower for us to dry the waterborne paint, which speeds up the process. The good thing about waterborne paint is that as soon as it evaporates, you're good to go. So now Gilligan will dilute the waterborne paint with the waterborne reducer. We made 8 ounces, that would be 1.6 ounce. It always has to be properly mixed until we get an even mixture within the paint mixing cup. So when we spray, we don't see uneven coats of color. So right now we're filling our paint gun with 8 ounces of diluted paint. We're gonna see how far 8 ounces will take us. Waterborne paint seems to look blotchy on your first coat. Don't pay no mind to that. Don't try to achieve full coverage on your first spray. Excellent. Let it dry. So the process in waterborne is 2 even coats, and then we have what we call a dust coat. Well, now we're gonna have Mr. Brown apply the first coat of clear on his waterborne panel. We'll let it flash off, and then he'll come back and coat it with his second coat to finish it off. As you had seen in the previous shots, we had a little blotchiness, and you'll see some patches. That's all due on purpose to sandpaper to prove that with Enviro-based high performance, all technicians, the body work has to end at 800 grit or plus. Well, Enviro-based is like we're trying to shift everyone into that slowly but surely. The entire west coast of the United States and all of Canada has already been on waterborne for the past 10 years. And now soon it'll be the eastern seaboard, which covers the Caribbean. So when that happens, we'll all be affected. So it's best to start now, start trying and applying waterborne, because eventually everyone will be on it. And referring to technicians, it's less harmful because it doesn't have all the toxic chemicals that solvent-borne paints do.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. Opposition leader Myron Walwyn has criticized Premier Dr. Natalia Wheatley's 2026 budget address, saying it failed to tackle the bread and butter issues affecting Virgin Islanders, describing the presentation as all froth and no mobby. Premier Wheatley responded in a press conference on Friday. Leader of the opposition, Myron Walwyn, has shared his disappointment after reflecting on the 2026 budget address delivered by Premier Dr. Natalia Wheatley in the House of Assembly on Thursday. Walwyn stated that the bread and butter issues were not addressed, and as he puts it, the budget was all froth, no mobby. He cited this as a lack of a proper plan to guide the actions of the government. This is something Walwyn has been consistently criticizing the administration on within recent times, and formed the basis of his no-confidence motion a few months ago.
The Minister of Finance some weeks ago stated that the 2026 budget would be a bread and butter budget. I took that to mean that the focus of the budget would have been on everyday needs of the ordinary man. That is, the things that affect their lives daily. Absolutely nothing was mentioned about the high cost of living. The price of food is increasing every single day, putting basic food items out of the reach of the people. No plan articulated to address that situation.
Premier Wheatley delivered a direct response to Walwyn's criticisms in a press conference on Friday.
I must express my disappointment in the last press conference of the Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Myron Walwyn, which in my view sought to politicize the constitutional process. A committee of the House has taken a position on next steps to self-determination, which is inconsistent with what the Leader of the Opposition expressed in his last press conference. Our constitutional process must be free of partisan politics, and the likelihood of success is enhanced with uniformity of our position, and hence the reason why the House of Assembly has come to a consensus on our negotiating position. I hope by now you would have listened or read my budget address delivered yesterday under the ongoing theme of building a sustainable nation and sub-theme of pillars of progress. I would have outlined plans and priorities for the Virgin Islands' biggest ever budget of $550+ million, along with its highest ever revenue collections of $446+ million. You would have heard the Leader of the Opposition response, where he referred to the 2026 budget as fraught and no mabi, with no bread and butter issues. While the leaders of the opposition's response does not surprise me, as it is a continuation of his politically motivated, opportunistic behaviors, I'm obligated to the people of the Virgin Islands to set the record straight with facts, not emotions.
He went on to address specific claims made by the opposition on areas including social safety nets, food security, the cost of living, unemployment, farmers' issues, and special needs.
Let me respond to each of his baseless comments. He said we have not addressed the social safety net. In the 2026 budget, provision has been made for a transitional home to be built in Long Loc at a cost of $1.8 million, supporting the needs of vulnerable members of our population experiencing homelessness, among other challenges. I'll also remind the public that we significantly increased the social assistance grants going to the elderly, the differently abled, and other vulnerable groups. He said we did not address the high cost of living, including food. In the 2026 budget, provision has been made for payment to pensioners, many of whom are seniors and among the most vulnerable. I should say increased payment to pensioners. We have already helped others on the low end of the earning scale, such as civil servants, where we lifted the bottom of the scale to help those below a living wage. We've increased social benefit payments. We've increased the minimum wage to $7.25 with a further review on the way. We are in the process of implementing a regulated basket of goods to ensure that affordable foods are available to the most vulnerable. This requires mechanisms to be put in place, such as the collection of data, so we can manage and track that savings are passed along to the consumers. A critical part of this was to capture the volume of items coming into the territory. This required certain adjustments to be made by customs to regulate the brokerage clearing process. This mechanism was finalized last week, and the requirements for customs clearance of the baskets of goods will begin December 1st. Communication with the food importation brokers and suppliers is also being done. He said there's no employment program to help our people. The rated program has provided employment for close to 300 persons in 2025 at a cost of $1.85 million so far. The rated program will be expanded to include a wide range of sectors and will include apprenticeships and training and skills development, soft and life skills training to get people into the mainstream workforce. This is in addition to the Department of Labor and Workforce Development's commendable efforts to upskill the labor force. He said there's nothing for our farmers. Provisions were made in the 2026 budget for the reservoir to ensure reliable and consistent supply of water at Paraquita Bay, an essential and basic requirement of farming. An agricultural complex to house the services necessary to support farmers. There is close to $2 million to address both these projects. There's $1 million to buy more land for farming. I also mentioned the agriculture grant policy to be passed this year to provide grants to farmers. $300,000 for fishing and farmers will be distributed by year end. I should mention that there's $400,000 for a fishing complex in Bargos Bay in the 2026 budget. These are just a few areas worth mentioning. He said there's nothing for special needs. Government just provided a state-of-the-art facility to address the training and developmental needs of the differently abled. This is the Henley Richer Learning Center. It is the first and only purpose-built facility in the OECS region.
Project Manager Jalil Howe of JMB Trucking and Heavy Equipment Services has provided an update on progress at the Georges Hallow Road project, noting that the team is in the final stages of completing the roadway. According to him, the project is currently focused on the curing process of 4,000 psi concrete, a critical phase that ensures the road's durability and long-term strength.
So basically, the curing process for concrete is the time it takes for the concrete to reach its true strength and durability. To draw you a picture of how that is done, the concrete that was poured at Georges Hallow Road and retaining wall was 4,000 psi, and in order for it to reach that level of strength, it needs a minimum of 7 to 10 days to actually take its time and dry, where it can strengthen and increase its durability.
He explained that the curing allows the concrete to reach its full structural capacity, which is essential for withstanding heavy traffic and environmental conditions.
So in order to cure it as well, you need to, either cover the concrete or keep it moist as it dries. That way it doesn't dry too quickly, because if it dries too quickly, then it cannot reach its true strength and durability. And when the concrete cannot reach its true strength and durability, it leads to many complications. The number one fact of it being cracked concrete. So that's why it's very important that when you pour concrete, you actually give it the time it needs to reach its strength before you can drive or you can do any operating on that.
With much of the major work already completed, residents and motorists in the area are eagerly anticipating the reopening of the roadway. Once finished, the improved infrastructure is expected to provide smoother, safer travel and contribute to better connectivity within the community. The Georges Hallow Road project is part of ongoing efforts to upgrade road networks and enhance accessibility in the territory. Up next, training prepares local educators to pilot 21st century STEAM-aligned lessons, and Wheatley hails $1.7 million project as key step in government's push for social protection. These and more stories when 284 News returns.
As the winds start to whisper of approaching storms, it's time to safeguard your sanctuary.
Hey, have you checked your insurance policy lately?
Not recently, why?
It's very important to check your insurance policy before the hurricane season.
That's a good idea. I'll reach out to my provider and get some information.
Awesome. Come son, let's plan for emergencies together. We're gonna include your favorite comfort kit.
Thanks, Dad. That makes me feel safer.
We're packing extra medications and extra batteries for your hearing aid.
And by the way, don't forget my glasses.
Okay, Pops.
Alright, let me see. Okay.
What's going on, dog?
Listen, you good?
You got truck?
How you doing? I hear trimming some of the branches to make sure they don't cause a freak when the storm come.
Fair point. I gotta go clean out the gutter them down by me so nothing don't build up. You know how that could go sometimes.
Makes sense. That's something good. We gotta be prepared.
Facts.
Sometimes we get off track, but that's okay.
Yo, thanks for chilling with the dog today, you know.
Man, anytime, you know I got you.
Yeah, but the place so damn hot now. And you know the old people, them say when it's so hot, a storm somewhere out there coming.
Listen, I rebuke that in the name of great God of the universe, okay? Let me move these stuff so they don't cause a problem.
Alright, me want my neighbor window get knocked out and all, my son.
Remember, we're in this together. Reach out to your community, lend a hand, and shield each other from the storm's challenges. A message from the Department of Disaster Management and 284 Media.
Just give me my service. Yeah. Just give me my service.
Just give me my service.
Make the switch to CCT and get connected today. Unlimited talk, text, and data. Visit any CCT store or call us at 444-4444. CCT, Life Unlimited.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Educators in the Virgin Islands have completed training on the OACS Harmonized Primary Curriculum, a major step in transforming teaching and learning across the region under the OACS Pearl project, which aims to modernize classrooms and strengthen student engagement through technology-driven instruction. Educators in the Virgin Islands have completed an initiative which is set to transform teaching and learning across the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. They participated in a week of training on the new digital OACS Harmonized Primary Curriculum. It was developed under the OACS Pearl Project, Program for Educational Advancement and Relevant Learning, and spans kindergarten through grade 6 and covers all 4 core subject areas. The initiative is said to represent a unified regional effort to modernize classroom instruction, strengthen student engagement, and provide teachers with digital tools that enhance their effectiveness. Chief Education Officer Olandet Crabbe said that the Virgin Islands has been part of the development process from the very beginning, explaining that they have seen this project take shape and are confident in what it will deliver. Crabbe noted that the curriculum is designed to provide a 21st century experience for their students and aligns perfectly with the STEAM mandate. She said it increases collaboration, creativity, and communication in the classroom while giving teachers the digital support they need to succeed. The training, which brought together participants from Grenada and St. Lucia as well as the Virgin Islands, focused on preparing a core group of local educators who will serve as trainers for the territory's pilot schools, Alexandrina Madura Primary School, Leonora Delville Primary, and Brigado Flax Educational Center Primary Division. Over the next 6 months, these trainers will continue working with teachers at the pilot institutions in preparation for the official rollout next September. Project manager for the OACS Pool project, Mr. Raffer Gordon, said that the new curriculum is one of the most significant education advancements in the region in recent years. With the completion of the training, the Virgin Islands education system will now refine its implementation strategy, outlining timelines for teacher training, monitoring, and ongoing support for the 3 pilot schools. Meanwhile, Health and Social Development Minister Vincent Wheatley says that the planned Long Look Social Home Complex will provide a space for recovery, empowerment, and transition, describing the $1.7 million project as the cornerstone of the government's push towards social protection and inclusion. Minister for Health and Social Development, Vincent Wheatley, believes that the construction of the Long Look Social Home Complex will serve as a safe place for recovery, empowerment, and transition. Minister Wheatley's comments were made on Monday when the government signed a $1.7 million contract with Island Concrete for the construction of the facility. He described the project as a cornerstone of the ministry's ongoing transformation towards a ministry for social protection and inclusion, noting that following the passage of Public Assistance Act 2024, the ministry has intensified its efforts to modernize systems and facilities that meet the territory's evolving social needs.
Today's contract signing for the construction of the Long Look Social Home Complex represents more than just a building of a new facility. It marks our shared commitment to ensuring that no one in our community is left without a place to call home. or without the opportunity to rebuild their lives with dignity and hope. And those are two key words, dignity and hope. Through this project, the Ministry of Health and Social Development is expanding its capacity to respond to the growing challenges of homelessness and social vulnerabilities in our communities. The new Longo facility will complement the work of the Safe Haven Transitional Center by providing a structured, supportive environment for persons who are ready to take the next step towards independent living. It will also serve as a hub for partnerships, bringing together government agencies, community organizations, and the private sector to deliver rehabilitation, skill training, and reintegration programs that empower individuals and families to become self-sufficient.
And that's it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at 284media.com, like us on Facebook at 284media, and 284BVI on Instagram and X, formerly Twitter. I am Jacques Wooding Donovan, and I will see you again next week. So have yourself a safe and enjoyable weekend. Goodbye.